All right, moving along. Let's talk about two other ways, if we can, about getting a fire started. Hunters, and I'm sure you've heard about this stuff before. One of the things that you can do, let's say your lighter goes down and you don't have open flame. Maybe you've got something to start a spark with. Hell, two decent rocks, some chert will definitely do the job. Maybe against the back of your knife, depending upon what your knife material is, what kind of a spine you got. But one of the things that you can do, and I would take this with a grain of salt, is you can use the gunpowder from your rounds. Keep in mind, gunpowder is dangerous. Fire starting in general is dangerous, but gunpowder is very dangerous. And should you decide to go this route, understand that I'm just providing you the information. What you do with it is up to you. I don't take any responsibility for it. I'm just putting that out there. 22 round. Your 12 gauge round. I don't know if we can see these. Or if you're an inline hunter like myself, maybe you've got some black powder or some black powder substitute. All three of these will burn very easily. They'll take a spark very easily, and you can use your your pocket knife to open this up. You can actually pull out your slug or your shot, and then your wad, and underneath is going to be your powder. Okay, with your 22 rounds, your rimfire rounds, or your centerfire cartridges, you can use your Leatherman to pull this projectile right out, and you'll have a shell full of loose powder. Okay, or you can simply crush these up, or if you've got black powder that you use in your inline or your flintlock, you can use that to start a fire. I will tell you this though, it'll take a spark very easily, but understand that this stuff burns really fast and really violently. So if you got your face down in there in the mix, there's a good chance you can get it back in your face. It's not good to breathe that stuff in, and because it happens really fast, you have to have your stuff prepared really well. Everything needs to be right in your immediate area for immediate use, and it's got to be dry. It's got to be dry. But it's a real quick one and done. The downside to this, aside from that, the downside to this is if you're stuck anywhere for any considerable amount of time, this is your food gathering source. It's also your signaling device. Should there be a search party looking for you. So I would suggest, unless you have a ridiculous amount of ammunition, that you feel confident that you can spare, I would kind of use this as a last resort, but it can be used. Okay. So again, we would take this powder, we would put it on our bird's nest or our tinder bundle, and we would strike that spark on that, and it would obviously get it going, and then we would have to tend to that and get it going. And so you're going to pull one of these apart. One of the things that you're going to find in there on some models is your plug. This goes right below your wad, and this is just compressed paper. But the good thing about this is that you can pull it apart. You can pull it apart, and now you have more material that you can burn, and that you can add to your flame to keep it going. There's a lot of it's just thinly compressed paper, but we can, with our sausage fingers, we can peel this apart and get more surface area on it, and that'll help our fire go. most critical part of starting the fire is, well, starting the fire. It has to be able to take fairly quickly, and that'll just help you. So yeah, firearms or ammunition, you can use it. Just be mindful that that may be your food source, or rather your food gathering device, or it could be your signaling device. So we certainly want to keep that as a last resort. The other thing that you may have, you should have, is a first aid kit. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but in your first aid kit you're going to have things like prep pads, alcohol wipes. They're flammable. They do the same thing that this does, just on a smaller scale. But you can peel those apart, burn those. One of the other things that's in here, that I keep in here, petroleum jelly. And like I said before, fire starting is not just for the guys. Girls need to know how to do that too. But you guys, you kind of have it made in the shade, right? What are these, guys? They're not cigars. My wife's gonna kill me because, you know, I'm dwindling her supply, but this thing right here, this is a gold mine. Guys, you should know how to use this too, just because this right here, it's awesome. Okay, all we do is we can pull this guy apart. We don't need this stuff. This detonation cord here, if we pull that out, ridiculous. It's all cotton, all cotton. The amount of material that we have here to start a fire is more than enough. And what we'll do, this can actually be used as a wick. We can coat that with our petroleum jelly, our chapstick, grease from our nose or our ears. I know it's disgusting, but it works. Maybe oil from a can of tuna fish or something that we have, right? Not tuna and water, tuna and oil. And we can make a wick out of this, or we can make a candle out of this if we put it in the right container and just have our end showing. But also, this is a great fire starter. I know you probably heard of the cotton balls and fire and such. I'm just going to take a piece of this, and I'm going to take some of my petroleum jelly, and I think Neosporin would work. We're just going to chunk this up, and we're going to get some petroleum jelly on there, and we're just going to work that in. And we don't want it, you know, like a solid blob of cotton and petroleum jelly, because we want to have some of these fibers showing, because that's what's going to take our spark. And again, you know, if you have a lighter, the lighter works great, but this helps prolong your flame, so you don't have to burn all that fuel. You don't have to burn it through matches and all that stuff. You can lay this down in your little pile of dead twigs, dried grass or tree bark. So we'll go ahead and we'll set this down. We'll take our ferro rod. Kaboom. And that'll burn for a while. If we didn't have the petroleum jelly on there, the Vaseline, it would burn quicker. But because this is full of petroleum jelly, it sort of slows it down. And this will actually burn for a while. I'm just going to let that burn, and you'll see how quick that goes, or rather how long that stays. And that's more than enough time for me to, you know, get my twigs situated on that, or my grass, or whatever I have that I'm going to start burning. to get my fire going. And that was just real quick on the fly. It's still going. And that's, you know, that's a pronounced flame, so that works for us. Okay. Now you can, I don't know if I have any. That's another flint and steel kit. One of the things that I have made, and you can make a bunch of these and keep them on your person, they work pretty well, is you can actually put that inside of a piece of drinking straw. So you want to impregnate your cotton with petroleum jelly. And I would suggest petroleum jelly, not, you know, kerosene or any of that other flammable material, because that stuff's gonna number one, it's gonna get all over your stuff, and two, it may dry out, it may dissolve, and then it doesn't really do the same thing that this does. It doesn't last as long. But basically, you impregnate your cotton with petroleum jelly, and you'll stick it down in the straw, and you'll seal. That's still going. You'll seal both ends, and I'll probably do a tutorial for that because it keeps them waterproof until such time as you need to open them and use them tops. And they've actually saved my butt a few times when, you know, the other stuff wouldn't work. So we'll get into that. And this is just now going out. So just let that burn itself out. There's some squirrel fur stuck in the cracks of the stump from when I was cleaning some squirrel from last small game season. It just burned and it smelled fantastic. So there you go. 2 more ways to start fire. So practice it. Get it right. Practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect execution most of the time. And I'll see if there are any more ways that I can think of or that I have laying. I have a box of crap here. One of the other things you can use is duct tape. You can actually shred this up. I'm not going to because it's a pain in the ass. But you can shred this up, and then the fibers in this tape, because it's covered in glue and all that good stuff, and somehow dog hair, they will catch and they'll burn, and because it's plastic, it tends to become molten and hot, and you can probably get a fire going with that. I'm not going to do it. Again, it's a pain in the ass. It takes too long for what I'm doing here, but it will work. Just be mindful that you probably want to save this for repairs, maybe building a shelter if you need to, or God forbid, really quick, you know, bandage for maybe a laceration or something like that, or you know, first aid purposes. So I would keep that in my toolbox, but again, along with the, you know, just like the gunpowder, I would keep it as a last resort. So yeah, check back with you in a little bit and see if there's anything else that I can just do here. I have a whole box of crap, so see what else we can do. Right? Catch you guys later.